Report.
Yes, we are live and recording.
Thanks.
Should I move?
All right. There. All right, today is the board meeting for the Council on Aging. Paul, may I have a motion to call the meeting in order at 3:00.
Make motion to call the meeting to order at 3:00. I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. I'll give the mission statement this time, so I've got it right here. The mission of the Council on Aging is to advocate for Groveland's older adults, to identify their needs, to develop and implement services to meet their health, economic, social, and cultural needs, to encourage maximum independence and to improve their quality of life. If we could just go around the table quickly and introduce ourselves. I'm Barbara Sanborn, and the Chair of the Board of Directors.
Irene Thomas, Secretary and Member.
Alyssa Lee, Director of the Council on Aging.
Deb Stevenson, Treasurer of Council on Aging. Linda Brown, Member of the Council of Aging. Laurel Pahalski, Vice Chair of the Council on Aging.
Sharon Hines, participant.
Observer.
Okay, observer. Wanted observer.
Marie Waller, Member of the Council.
Linda Workman, member of the council.
Larry McElhenney, I'm a member of the board for the Friends of the Council on Aging.
Thank you. The approval of the November 20th, 2024 meeting minutes. May I have a motion to accept the minutes? If you were here that day, you can vote.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Okay. Yes. All those in favor of accepting, for any discussion or comments or questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Move right into the director's report, please, Alyssa.
Great. Well, thank you all so much for accommodating the time change so that everybody could be here. Really appreciate it. I just wanted to, were there any questions off the bat from the board report, or I can just do a high overview? So my sort of opening note was just making, just highlighting the fact that all of us at the COA board, staff and volunteers really truly aim to listen to the members of our community and tailoring the services that we have, because that really is why we are here. I think I got a number of thank yous this week for doing certain things, and it genuinely is our job. Certainly appreciate the thank yous, but I also want people to know that that is exactly why we are here, is to listen to them and try to fill their needs as best as we can, and if we can't, to point them in the right direction. So wanted to acknowledge the team and all of you for being helpful in that work as well. Thank you for that. Finance highlights for the month of November. Nothing out of the ordinary. We did receive the grant that I told you about probably a couple months ago that we received the award letter. In November, we actually received the funds, and that was from 2,500 for the MCC Festivals and Projects grant, and that will be put toward our Cultural Threads program. They're now hoping to do in April as part of an intergenerational week celebration. Any questions on the finance? Everything was pretty normal in regards to our expenses. We're pretty minimal. Just about 1,500 on expenses, again, not including salaries, bills and programming and up next is the assistant director report by Nisha. She highlights a few things that she's been working on. The Pen Pal program, the letters were a full cycle has been done. So I guess a full cycle and a half. So today, all the letters from the older adult community will be going over to the school. So that's kids in the first grade, get them before they go off on vacation week. From what I hear, they've been really great letters so far from all accounts. So thank you for everybody participating in that. We are hoping to schedule a meetup sometime in April, so that'll be something to look forward to. Nisha held a safety program, and we had a really great turnout, and a special thank you to the Groveland Electric Department for making that happen. And she talked about the Turkey Brigade boxes from Acacia's Martial Arts. He donated 10 sort of full sets of a gift card and all of the side dishes to go along with it. Was definitely appreciated. So thank you very much to them for helping make that happen. And yeah. We have a couple of programming highlights. All of you have seen what's coming ahead, but what happened in November, it was transportation services, definitely increased. Food pantry was, sort of staying stable. We certainly distributed a significant amount more food in November as opposed to October and September, as one would expect given the holiday season. And just, as I mentioned before, the variety of items in the pantry just makes it that much more useful in many ways, as well as exciting to shop there for people. So really appreciate that. Our individual interactions went down. I don't feel that way. And again, that's why we go by numbers, because we didn't go by our gut, but I used to look at the reports weekly just to make sure that we are following up, mostly for myself. I know Nisha's really great at it. Checking in every interaction that we have. So I'll go back to making sure that we do that. I know Irene had stepped in for me one day in November. And I was like, it'll be a quiet day. And she had a very long list of phone calls. So it wasn't a quiet day then. So we'll keep an eye on it. I don't think we're actually going down on that support, but
Holidays in November.
that is, yeah.
Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and the
Yeah.
day after Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
that's,
Wow.
out of what, how many days are there that you have 5 times?
Yeah.
20 days, 25 days in
Yeah.
a month. Take 3 away.
Yeah.
That's a
No, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll look at it.
How's
Just to
that?
make sure, but absolutely.
When did Harry start last year? What month?
She started December 5th.
December 5th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But all in all, things are looking great. Any questions on November programming? No? So our newsletter came out on Monday, both hard copy and electronic digitally. It's on Facebook, it's on our Groveland Town website. And so definitely feel free to get a copy of that. We have lots of really great things coming up. A few highlights would be we kick off right away in January with decluttering and downsizing, not through the AARP workshops. We have the low vision technology session, and that's with New England Low Vision and Blindness. And that's I attended a very similar workshop, which made me want to do this at the MCOA conference, because there is just so much technology available on devices we already have. It's just making sure that people know that they're available. Many of them are free, and other things of what they can do to help, and also for family members to have access should they want them to have access to things. So looking forward to that. We have Chinese New Year celebration. Nisha connected with the Greater Boston Chinese Music Program, who will be doing an ensemble performance for that lunch. Starting in January, we will be having a Alzheimer's and dementia workshop series once a month, January through April. They cover the basics so some workshops, we have the workshop descriptions in the newsletter and online. So, we'd love to have people for all of them, but certainly maybe not all of them are applicable to you. So don't feel like you have to come to all four or none. You can pick and choose and do what's best for you. So hopefully you can join for that. Again, lots of great things. The Friends, Larry, will be sponsoring a paper mache workshop in January. So please do join. Quick reminder about office hours, regular office hours for the remainder of this week, next week, December 23rd. Mondays, regular 8 to 4. Tuesday, it's a half a day, 8 to 12, and then we are closed Wednesday through Friday of next week. And then the week of New Year's, we're open regular hours with exception of New Year's Day, Wednesday, January 1st. Any questions on upcoming programming? Okay. Pantry updates, we touched on it a little bit. We had 900 attendees come into the pantry in November, an increase of over 400 pounds from October. And again, it's a ton of food. So we appreciate it. We also had a lot of great support from local businesses. We mentioned Acacia's Martial Arts, but also Neat Repeats and Humble Warrior Yoga did a food drives for us in November. And certainly our ongoing partner, Our Neighbors Table, did a great job supplying every member with a turkey or chicken that had wanted one. So we made that happen. So it was a great Thanksgiving, I think, for all. Last month, we talked about Meals on Wheels and potentially staging it here. We did get an update from Derek, their nutrition director or director of nutrition programs at AgeSpan, and that's who houses the Meals on Wheels or facilitates the Meals on Wheels program. They said that funding is not available for a new coordinator position here at Groveland. However, they do have a site in Haverhill that can take on the Groveland routes and push them out. So I said that would be, the best possibility option for us right now. I think in the future, I would definitely be open to having that conversation of staging them here. Just right now with our own transitions going on, with two people in the office, that we just need to settle that a little bit more before we add another layer to that.
So right now it's through West Newbury.
Yeah.
Are the drivers, I really don't know. I see them coming on a Friday. Are the drivers for people that receive Meals on Wheels in Groveland? Are they specific Groveland people? Like, will they have to now go to Haverhill? Or were those people that work?
I think
Like,
so.
we need to find more drivers. is what I'm saying.
I think they're always looking for
Right.
drivers and AgeSpan coordinates that.
Oh,
So
okay.
if people are looking to drive, there is a stipend that goes along with it. Contact AgeSpan or contact us and we'll put you in touch with AgeSpan. And they will do it. So I do think that they're always looking for drivers. So anybody that is interested and willing, definitely go to it. I'm sure they'll open up the possibility for those people because you do build a connection to
Right.
whom you deliver to.
That's what I was wondering,
Yeah.
would the switch mean that there'd be all new different people from Haverhill doing it, or?
I don't know.
No,
I know when we
it's not your
were,
job. I
when
know.
we were talking about moving it here, that certainly they were going to open it, let people know, hey,
Mhm.
these routes switched over here so that they could follow them. So I think that option will be open. I just don't know who will take them up.
Okay.
Put it down so that you're not blind.
Looking for an opening to ask somebody. Oh, that's good, thank you. That good? Perfect.
Thank you.
I can see.
Yep, so that is where we are. Again, open it later, but just not right now. Any other questions or thoughts on Meals on Wheels? Tax work-off updates. So, on December 5th, I had received an email from our town administrator, Rebecca Oldham, noting that there were changes that needed to be made effective immediately in regards to being in compliance with federal regulations, for payment. Certainly I expressed disappointment on the timing of the notifications. Certainly understand the need to be in compliance. It is my understanding at this point that all participants have been contacted by the town administrator, and the paperwork should have been due today to make that happen. In regards to the new tax work-off participants, we knew that this was going to be a change when we started off the new year, so everyone was notified back when we had our informational meetings in September and October. It was in the informational packet on part of the application, so everyone moving forward participating for FY 26, calendar year 25 is definitely aware and it's a process.
They don't have to
Yeah.
backdate it, do they?
No, I mean, so it would essentially be, and it'll happen the same year for FY 26, it's one paycheck. And so they'll do it at the end of the year
And
as, yeah. That's how it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I touched base on it, but here's more details about the dementia workshops coming up. I will note that I did attend a conference a couple weeks ago with Tifa Snow. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Tifa Snow, but just a really innovative leader in dementia care. And so she had done a workshop through an organization through the South Shore Alzheimer's Association, and they provided that for free. So I sat in on that and just learned a lot of, general great techniques. Again, not aiming to be an expert, but definitely am there for a lot of conversations with people that are going through caretaking someone with dementia, particularly through my memory cafes. So, just always trying to learn. Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen Tifa, she was really fun. I enjoyed her. So she's got a lot of books and everything out there too. So do check her out. But Monarch Partners are the people that will be doing the Getting to Know Dementia series coming up starting in January. It will typically be the last Tuesday in January. It's at 12 o'clock. So people can feel free to bring a lunch if they so choose, and have that conversation, with Deborah, who is the facilitator for the organization. She is the founder of the Monarch Partners. Her mother, it's on her website, was, had dementia, so she's gone through it personally, and now, she's, this is her career and living is supporting people through that process.
So this is a face-to-face interaction?
Yeah.
Terrific.
She will be.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, a huge thank you to the Friends of the Groveland Council on Aging. We had a really wonderful holiday luncheon just last week on the 12th, full house. We had the wonderful musicians of Pentucket High School, their honor ensembles of instrumentalists and also choir. It was really nice. Thank you to the Friends for doing a phenomenal, not only supporting us through sponsorship and making it possible, but the raffle was awesome too. I think there were over 20 raffle items. So it was good stuff. And also thank you to Irene for proofreading the newsletter this month. It was a lot to go through. So
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
I actually enjoy doing that.
Happy to answer any questions, so if you have.
There's no questions for Alyssa.
Can I get a compliment?
Yes.
What a nice, diverse offering of information, social activities. And especially the valuable information sessions. Looking forward to those. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did mention it, I think I maybe wrote it in writing in here, but I know it's one of my goals to continually ask for feedback, so we'll try to do another round of feedback gathering in the new year. As we start planning for spring, what people are looking for. So always, doesn't have to be formal feedback. I'm more than happy to take comments in person if you come into the office or phone call or email too. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Other business subcommittee updates. I know we have a few of those today. Irene was going to talk on the personnel subcommittee updates.
So, after the October meeting, in the October meeting, it was the personnel and the personnel committee met about the staff restructuring proposal that had been discussed at the October meeting. And the personnel committee is asking for approval of the staff restructuring proposal that was presented in October. And I understand we need to vote on that. So as a member of the Personnel Committee, I make a motion that the board approves the staff restructuring proposal, given that we have our director and assistant director covering the outreach services.
Second the motion. Okay, second motion.
Is there any discussion or questions on those proposed changes? We've all had a chance to take a look at them, I'm pretty sure. Anybody have any comments, questions, suggestions? All right then. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Thank you, Irene. Next for the Finance Committee, Deb? would like to speak to that?
So, we met a couple of times. We met last week. Barbara, Alyssa and I with the town accountant and the town administrator to discuss the upcoming budget for the FY 26 fiscal year. Got the town's guidance. As I think everyone is aware, the town, can only, because of Proposition 2.5 that was voted in many years ago in Massachusetts, the town can only increase taxes by 2.5% plus new growth. So obviously town finances are never flush. The town this year, as they did last year, I believe, is giving a 2% salary increase guidelines. And asking that that is what the salary increase be. Based on the proposed new organizational structure, which we just voted our approval of, we were able to come up with what I think is a decent option, which will basically last year's budget was last year's total budget was $185,000 and change. That was close to $186,000. And that only covered salaries. If everybody remembers last year, we gave up our operating expense line and our vehicle expense line in order to make the assistant director's salary at a level that we felt met the salary survey that the town had commissioned a few years previously. As you know, Alyssa worked very hard to get that done. So the way that we got that done was to give up those expense lines. So the full $186,000 in our budget this year is solely salaries. However, because of the restructuring and the change, basically that made from the higher paid outreach position to a lower paid program coordinator position, I think that what we are proposing is that we have salaries that represent that 2% increase, which would be a total of $189,600. And doing that with those changes, we're able to get the van drivers a little more money. were able to get the assistant director the budgeted increase. And we're also able to give the director a higher than 2% increase to recognize, I think what everyone would agree has been a very, very successful administration. And we're also, in addition to that, we are also going to request that our non-vehicle expense line be reinstated, but at only $1,500. Very fortunately for us, one of the things that the town administrator, I think, has really, really worked hard on during her tenure is consolidating town expenses and town services appropriately. And one of the areas she's trying to consolidate expenses in are like technology things. So our cell phones that we currently pay for right now from the revolving fund,
Oh,
our cell phones and our My Senior Center license will be moved under the town's general administrative line item. Assuming, again, this assumes that the revenue predictions come in the way they think the revenue, I mean, nothing's carved in stone until town meeting, so. But doing that, I mean, that was the biggest,
Yeah, those are
a
our two
big
biggest
chunk, those are,
expenses.
so
that's great.
the $1,500 that we're proposing covers. It will be enough to cover our movie licenses. When we do the Monday movies, we have to pay a licensing fee for that. Our Mass Council on Aging dues, as well as Mass Council on Aging seminar training. So that is our plan. Now that gives, I don't know how it will fly. With the 1,500, it makes our budget that we will be requesting $191,114, which is a 2.8% increase over where we were last year. Now, again, that's slightly higher than the 2.5%. Obviously, we'll go into this and we know sometimes adjustments are made. But right now, that's the budget subcommittee's recommendation. Any questions?
Okay, so you had said asking salary wise. Upping more than 2% for the director. You said giving the van drivers more.
They're
More than
more- yes.
2%? Okay, more than 2%. Okay, I just want, okay. And what was the other one there?
And then the
Those three
assistant
things.
director gets the regular 2%.
Okay,
But we're paying for it basically because the
that will
outreach.
come into that, right? And so part of it would be for the new position. I forget what we're
The new
calling it.
the new-
A program
program
coordinator, and so that's a line that the COA has actually had for many years.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Before the assistant director, so reinstating that. So on the ideal situation is at town meeting, you'll see the lines for, director, assistant director, van driver, and then program coordinator. It's program coordinator replacing the title of, outreach coordinator.
Right. Having the expense line be a zero in this last budget round, how are we going to deal with that in the next budget proposal?
We're proposing a
That's it.
$1,500 line.
Oh, okay, so
Of it
that's
moving
the $1,500, okay, would be reinstated
Well,
as the
that's what we're-
expense line.
Yes, we're
Got it.
proposing that. We're
Thank you.
not- And I think one of the
Yes.
things that we've talked about kind of in conjunction with this whole strategic planning discussion we've been
Yeah.
having for a while is ideally in the next budget cycle, we'd like to be able to put some van expense
And expense. back.
money back in.
Yes.
But I
We
think,
lost both of those.
yes, I think realistically, we know the constraints the town faces. Realistically, I don't think we do ourselves favors by asking, to put $10,000 back in. I think asking for $1,500 and then saying, and next year, we'd like to have some and I think it's better, a little plan, and
Mhm.
I think it shows that we understand and that we're willing to work.
I would say at the meeting that we had with the town administrator and accountant, that town administrators seem open or amenable that if for some reason something came up that was, a big expense, to go to her and have that conversation and figure out what we can do, because certainly everybody knows that we have to have a van that's safe and usable and certainly all in agreement there, so, yeah.
And we do get the transportation grant.
So we currently have it for this fiscal year, FY 25. I applied for FY 26 and well.
I mean, that can help cover. the
Yeah, so if
expenses,
we,
Right.
yeah, if we
And it's
get
not
it.
covering anything else like salary.
Right,
or
not
not
anymore.
anymore.
No,
So we can get,
Yes.
get by with some of that.
yeah, if, I don't know when that will be announced. I did submit it earlier in the fall, so we'll see where that leads.
Could I just, 'cause for my notes,
Yep,
you said that the town is going to absorb the cost of the telephone and what was the other thing?
the My Senior Center licensing.
Oh, my
fee,
seniors, thank you.
Which are our two biggest single administrative expenses.
That would be,
Yes, and there also was some discussion that at some point in the future, the town may also be able to absorb some vehicle expense. So,
Good.
I mean, it makes sense. The town can do better if they negotiate things,
right.
you know, bundle them and.
All right, thank you very much for that, Deb. Are there any questions on that?
Great.
I just wanted to point out that Alyssa will present the budget to the town administrator by the end of December.
So I'll put it, yeah, so absolutely, I can walk through that we, so all the departments, put it in online. The town eventually sees it as the budget book. So we do a draft, so we'll put this in, as a draft budget for the finance committee to look at and review. We will meet, with the finance committee in January. I forgot the exact date, but it is scheduled. There we can verbalize what we are requesting. They go back and forth until
Finally
town
put-
meeting. Yeah, but certainly keep you posted along the way. So by December 31st, this draft budget will be in.
Now, do we need to vote on this draft?
I think we would like that to
Yeah.
happen,
Right.
so that it,
So that we're all on the same page, I mean.
yep,
Yeah, and I just also wanted to point out what, as Alyssa mentioned, so we've already had one round of discussions with the town administrator and the accountant where the finance committee, proposed what we wanted, so we're in there fighting for our budget. We will continue to do that when we have future meetings with the finance board and ultimately, with the select board, so we are in there all the time. It just doesn't come down to town meeting. By the time it comes to town meeting, it's too late. The budget is
Right.
already set.
Right.
So what we do now, this is when we're fighting for our budget, as is every department. I just wanted to point that out.
I don't have it in my phone either,
Okay.
so. I don't know
The
what
meeting
to say.
in, I'd like to know that date as well. Unless there's any other discussion, then may I have a motion to approve
Make a motion to approve the
proposal?
proposed budget.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
I missed who suggested it, who first did
Me.
it. It's
Laurel.
Laurel, and second.
His name.
Marie seconded it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm clear.
Next subcommittee is bylaws. Update, please.
Okay. Everyone we've sent the bylaws
Yes.
to everyone.
Yep.
I think our plan was to answer any questions at this meeting on the draft bylaws. And this, assuming that there are no changes or making the changes, we would like to have, we need to have 2 votes in order to have it officially
Before we
approved.
put it on the
Yes.
warrant, which is the warrant is what is presented at town meeting.
Right.
So we need to approve it twice and then it goes, and then they need to approve it to get it put on the town.
And I think did we hand out copies at the last meeting?
We did, and there were some changes, but I sent it all out. All the changes were sent out.
So everybody
It's
should
just
have
a
the.
matter of wording back and forth, and we all agreed on the proper way of doing it now. So hopefully it will get on the warrant.
And we did, I believe an okay from the town administrator
Okay.
with what we had presented as,
Yes, the
the final version.
final.
The Town administrator was okay with that.
Yeah.
And I believe legal counsel
Yes.
was also okay with that, if I remember correctly. Does anyone, I guess, have discussion? Does anyone?
This was our first. Oh,
Today,
Yes, today in January.
Because there were some questions that we had to bring it back to
right.
the board, to
That's right.
the town administrator.
Right. So then may I have a motion to accept the bylaws as they have been proposed, bylaws changes as they have been proposed?
I make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Oh.
Oh, you
Either
can
one.
second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Please.
Thank you. That's vote number one.
Okay,
Okay.
get that on the agenda again for January.
Yes, continued. It's not really a nominating committee update, but I just wanted to mention that Linda Brown has submitted her letter of resignation from the board for personal reasons. I want to thank Linda very much for your years of service. Linda has been an absolute rock in the food pantry.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would have stayed open in those days when Maria first left and before Alyssa came, if it hadn't been for Linda. Thank you.
No.
Yes,
Seriously.
absolutely. She's a familiar face to people who come in to use it. She's a familiar voice on the phone when she makes her phone calls to reach out to those older adults to determine their needs. And she's also a very active member of the Friends. So Linda, thank you very much for your service.
No.
Okay.
So moving forward, if there are people who are interested in being on the board, what you would need to do is submit a written letter of interest to the board, which we will then take under advisement. We hope to get one or two, or the more the merrier, for our next meeting, so we can then move forward to appointing people and having them hopefully on board, if not January, then definitely February.
Don't
So
they need to send a letter of intent to the select board?
first, I talked with Beth Cunningham this
Okay.
morning.
All right.
So the first thing they have to do, anyone who's interested, is submit a letter of interest
Yeah.
to our board. We would then forward that letter of interest to the town administrator and the select board and the town clerk. Then once we have someone that we want to appoint and vote, then once we have done that, then we send a letter, the board sends a letter of appointment stating the date that we appointed and the date that we voted to appoint this person to the board, which also goes to the town administrator and the select board for their
Right.
consideration.
Okay.
So please, if you are interested on joining our board, we do lots of rewarding, wonderful things. And it's a fun group and a hardworking group, and we'd love to have participation.
And I like sent out, I don't know if you all had a chance to read it, because you sent it like kind of last week before, because we've been mentioning this. Let's see if I can find it, but it was in her most recent 1 o'clock email, maybe. And it's a rubric, I guess you would call it, of, looking for strengths and weaknesses and, what can you offer the board? So we have different, I mean, our board right now, whew, and we're I'm getting misty-eyed about it. Very fortunate to have all of you. But, maybe we're losing two people. Because Marie has, implied her, or given her intent to lead the
Intent,
board
right.
is right. But you need to write all
I know.
But you can wait on that,
I will.
but, in two positions and, who knows if the people who are not here, I may be saying, I'm done, whatever. I think that's a good thing to see, looking for, when we have the slew of people come forward and say, I want to be on the board, to give that consideration too. And maybe if you're thinking, if we don't have people, I'm hearing that there's someone here that might be interested. But if there isn't, somebody maybe thinking of, oh, that person would be great to be on the board because it's not just a body, it's
Yeah.
someone who can
Contribute.
actively contribute in some way. So that's my thought.
Okay,
Okay,
I haven't seen that yet, but I will.
thank you, Alyssa. No, it's,
Thank you.
it's very good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's just a chart. One, it sort of documents what is currently at the table. And sometimes, granted, I think many of you know each other, but sometimes boards don't know each other in a personal way. So you have no idea of your work experience or what you might bring to the table. So it's one way to document that of like, oh, this person, I should be asking them about this resource. So that it's all in one place. And then you could also use it to notate when people are leaving, so that you know what skills are leaving with them. But also to see where your gaps are, and try to fill those. So it is a fully rounded, board.
Like you brought up the fact, we don't have anyone medical
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
on, you know,
That's true.
which would be something,
Yeah.
a nice thing to look for,
Yeah.
you know. But
Is there a retired doctor in the house?
Right?
Or nurse, or healthcare professional?
as I said, it doesn't have to be retired. Our board can have people that are
Absolutely.
not over 60 years old.
Yeah.
The majority of, I forget what the percentage is, we just did the bylaws, but
Yeah.
the majority have to be over 60.
And can people meet? Like I've seen other town boards, they can meet online, right? They could join us.
Zoom,
Zoom
yeah.
in.
Mm.
So if they were working and they had the flexibility of having an
Right.
hour off, it might be possible. So.
Yep.
People out there.
People listening.
All right, great. Is there any other discussion, questions about that board positions? If not, then we will move on to the Friends of the Council on Aging update. Larry McKelney is here to speak to that.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to remind everyone that our next Friends meeting is Thursday, January 2nd. At Town Hall at 2 p.m. We are in Town Hall, or are we are in Town Hall. And you are welcome to attend. The Friends is a fundraising organization, nonprofit, and all of the funds that we raise goes to help the Council on Aging. First off, I want to say congratulations to the winners of our November calendar raffle. It was a very fun, enjoyable experience, even more fun for the people who won. Some people who won more than once, and some people who are sitting around this table who won. So congratulations to those, but also a big thank you to all the citizens and businesses that supported this effort. We raised a chunk of cash off of this, and it was very worthwhile, and it'll be back again next November. With a change of calendar to 2025, we are focused next time, and we'll be setting up our annual membership drive. It's really just a fundraiser because membership arrives as soon as you have donated $10, but we are welcoming donations more than that. We are at our January meeting. We'll be stuffing envelopes and sending out invitations for people to contribute, starting with people who have contributed in the past and had become members in the past. Certainly, we will get in touch with the people who won the raffle too, to make sure that they are welcome to contribute back to us. Upcoming in January, the Friends are having a paper mache workshop, and it is truly going to be a workshop activity. It is a little messy, yes. The good thing about it is you will not be tempted to use your cell phones while you're doing. So it'll be a fun activity. What I am hoping is that people will have an idea of something that they would like to make. It could be a piñata, it could be a Mardi Gras mask, it could be something, if your grandchildren have a science project that they need to make. And I am working on a gigantic piggy bank for the coin drive for the,
Oh.
for next summer. So it's hopefully will truly be a workshop environment. I'm not an expert. If you want to learn how to do paper mache, go online because there are many people can teach better and there are different materials they can use. I just want to have a opportunity to come in and share ideas and work out problems of construction and building. And we have these two workshops scheduled on January 13th at 1 PM and January 27th, at the same time, and it's going to be held in the back room of the public safety building, the back entrance to the fire station. It's a great space. We have table, we can make a mess,
Right.
it up, because we're very responsible in our efforts.
What
But
are those two dates again? I'm sorry.
the 13th and the 27th.
Thank you.
And you know, the paper mache is very accessible. It's glue and paper. I, you know, will raid my recycling bin for any materials that we're going to have. But it's collaborative. It helps to build community. And even though it's sponsored by the Friends, anybody is welcome, all ages, there's no cost, just show up. And what I'm hoping is that
But you do want people to RSVP,
we
right?
do want people to RSVP, just don't show up.
Time?
Mhm.
What time?
1 PM. And what I'm hoping is that off of this, whoever shows up for these 2 days is that they spin off and, you know, work with their own grandchildren on a project or collaborate with things that they might want to do. Even another organization might want to, you know, have an activity. I know that like a group does the fairy houses up at VC Park, you know, that could be, paper mache is a very appropriate material for that if you're using. So, you know.
Would you like any of us to save newspapers for you?
No, because you really don't need that much. It's really just
Oh.
an outside covering. You don't need, you know, we can certainly recycle any unused,
Get the newspaper.
engagement seminar, engagement, newsletters. Please come out, and it might be 3 of us, and it might be 5 of us, or it might be 15 of us, who knows? But, and if that time doesn't work, if you say, gee, I'd really love to do that, but the time doesn't work, get in touch and we could run a second session. So think about that.
It is in the newsletter for January, February, under the monthly arts.
And our spring fund, so we had the fall fundraiser, which was the calendar raffle. Our January fundraiser is just ask for donations. And in the spring, we will be having the North Shoremen doing a concert at Bagnell School on Friday, April 11th at 6:30, did we decide? So mark that on your calendars too. But the mantra in the Friends of Council on Aging is come have some fun with us. I mean, we are a fundraising organization as in addition to a fundraising organization. So please come join us.
Can I just,
Sure.
so when you said, you know, the membership drive, you don't need to be a senior to be a friend of the COA.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes. I think everyone thinks you have to be a senior
Mhm.
and you don't, and you didn't.
Anyone can be a friend.
By the calendar or any of these other things, come to the concert, you know, become a friend. Buy bulbs if we do that ever again. Put the coin drive, you know, whatever. So, yes. Just want to let people know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to point out one more time that as was mentioned, the town does not contribute any funds whatsoever to the programming that the Council on Aging puts on. They pay strictly salaries. So all of the money for the programs that we do offer at the Council on Aging come from the Friends fundraising, come from grants. So all the support that we can get for our programs and for our membership drive is hugely important. So thank you for that.
I would just add, because we do one of our volunteers does a regular call to many of our community members that we do get funding from the state too. Which is why people get phone calls from Pat asking for some detailed information, because we do report out. That is actually a report that I'm working on now. So they require us to tell as much as we can tell, because certainly nobody has to answer the questions, but demographic information in regards to age, and race and ethnicity and that kind of thing. Again, when she calls, people don't have to answer, but if you do answer, similar to the Matrix, we're just trying to figure out where our gaps are and who we're serving. So, yeah. Sorry.
Thank All right, thank you very much, Larry. Moving on, the next item is discussion of December meeting focus area, which was the budget for XY 26, but I believe we have covered that and taken a vote to support that, so we will move on to Council on Aging Board goals for FY 25 through 27, our strategic planning. Again, we had a group that, well, we all worked on those. We all brought at the last meeting, all our ideas about strengths internal to the Council on Aging, weaknesses and opportunities that exist, and threats that exist. And when we say threats, we mean things like misconceptions about the perceptions of the Council on Aging, getting more town support, increased demand for services for our needs, and so on, that kind of thing. So this is something that we will continue to be working on, is our goals for the next 3 to 5 years. Would anybody else like to expand on that aspect?
Just thank you, Irene, for putting together all of our ramblings.
Yes.
Your pleasure.
Into
My pleasure.
minutes.
I,
Well organized, thank you.
the more
Thank you.
information we have, the hopefully the better we can discuss and work with this.
I mean, I think that, I'm not sure how to move. We have, this is a great foundation,
Source, yeah.
I think. And now I think it's gotta be, we've gotta kind of words, put it into more of a document. I'm not sure if that's best done by a subcommittee, if we need an ad hoc subcommittee. If that's the best way to do it, or if we need to set aside a special meeting to walk through it. I mean,
I'm wondering if maybe, and I can help if you would like my help. I think maybe eventually a subcommittee or something, but I wonder if we could have one more meeting at least together to at least big bucket prioritize. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that would be, yes, I agree.
So would we do that at our next board meeting, or would we want a separate meeting? To work on it and then bring ideas for the big bucket items, or how would that best be accomplished?
I think it will, I'm trying to think of how long we should budget for the big bucket. And I mean, I guess as long as we all knew that the next board meeting was gonna go perhaps longer than normal. And just be prepared for that and,
And I can also you all get my board report. I don't
yeah,
have to.
but no, I think it's good to, I think it's good for people to hear it too. The highlights.
Would there be value in each of us reviewing what's on here before the next
Yes.
meeting? And somehow marking that which we would prioritize?
I wonder if we came and we each had our own top 3 from
Priorities,
each.
yes.
Yeah,
And then, right, and this can inform that.
Yeah,
And that's all we really need.
yeah.
I mean, we need top 3 things that we would like to see the Council on Aging do or work towards
Mhm.
over the next, 3 to 5 years. And if we did that, then we can probably, when everybody brings those, we can
See
see what comes to
overlaps.
the top.
Yeah.
And then we can maybe assign timelines to them.
Mhm.
Because my gut feel is everyone, well, maybe not. My gut feel is that many of us, or several of us, will probably have something about more space. Be that a dedicated senior center or something on there. You know, that isn't something that we can put down as a 1-year goal.
Why not?
Good luck.
But yeah, so I think I think that's a great idea. If we all plan to come to the next meeting with 3 top things, and it doesn't have to be, I mean, it can be general, or it can be very specific, you know, maybe there's, and I think when we discuss it, it will kind of all fall into place. I mean, it could be something like a very specific programming need that you personally might have had a lot of friends or neighbors or people in Market Basket say, hey, you know, why doesn't the Groveland Council on Aging do this?
Mhm.
It could be something, you know, more physical, like space. It could be, you know,
But I
so don't
think,
limit yourself.
yeah, don't limit yourself, but also I'm hoping in those conversations, you know, that then we can bring it back so to the whole staff. Because maybe there are things we already are working on, or maybe there's a reason why we don't
Right.
do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense to me.
All right then.
Irene, when you sent out the minutes, you put a little blurb in like reminder.
Homework.
Homework.
Okay.
I put it on my calendar, but yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Mhm. Very good. Thank
Well,
you.
if I read the minutes, then it would say we discussed this here.
We won't let you forget. That is everything on our agenda. Is there anything else that needs to be brought up, discussed, mentioned? Complained about anything? If not, then may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Did you want to say something? You're looking like you want to say something. Oh, yes.
We have something, and
Yes.
one of the people that received something is here.
Yes.
So, Melissa, we'll give this to you, and Nisha's still here, right?
She is.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Thank you
Holidays from the board.
very much.
And we have something for Nisha and the van drivers too.
Oh, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's been a really great year, so thank you.
And well, after you open it, oh,
Do you want me to open
No.
it on live now?
no, probably not.
All right.
Oh, you never know what it might be. Wow. He's gonna give you a Laurel shop, so you really don't want to.
Oh,
Open up.
well, before we adjourn, before we do adjourn, happy holidays to everyone.
Yes.
There and
Happy holidays.
best wishes for a happy, healthy,
2025.
prosperous, not scary 2025.
Peaceful.
Peaceful.
Right. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 3, we'll call it 4:00?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Yeah.